There we go. Let's try this again. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you guys doing? This is Dr. Abney. I am your host for the Keep It Moving Monday Morning Motivations. How are you guys doing? For some reason, it feels like it's been a moment since I've been in front of you guys, but I hope that you all are doing well, that you had a great weekend. And that's where I start at the top of the morning, just talking about the weekend. I hope that you guys had a great time. Of course, here in Georgia, we've had some rain. I hope that the weather was good for you wherever you are in part of this world. But yeah, so those of you who are here for the first time, again, my name is Dr. Lia Abney, and the Keep It Moving Monday Morning Motivation Show is to help you get through your week, get through your days, helping you and motivating you to accomplish your goals by giving you some tips and some tools to get you through your week. And so, again, I like to start the episode with the weekend, just wanting to hear from you. So if you are tuning in, please say good morning. Let me know where you're hailing from, what part of the world you're from, and thank you for joining. But my weekend, so again, it was raining here. Did something a little different on last week, which was unexpected, where I'm sorry, you guys, I see a spider that I'm going to have to get after this episode. I'm like, But, so off track, sorry. But yeah, so on last week, we had some new additions to our family. My daughter and I, we got some puppies. We actually have two of them, you guys, Coco and Sheila. And yes, they are a handful, keeping us running, and it kind of changes things up, which really got me thinking about this episode and the topic for today. And we're going to get into that in a moment. But I hope that you guys had great weekends, that you'll be able to accomplish some things. Sometimes you find yourself, there's things that you want to do. There's things that you want to accomplish, but you get to this place, right? And so we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about the topic. When things get a little overwhelming, you're not feeling, whether it's in your personal or your professional life, and it just seems like things aren't clicking for you. So what do? What's going on during that time that's happening? And so my daughter and I this weekend, again, we got some puppies on Wednesday. And by Saturday, my daughter was expressing herself how she was feeling about it. She's like, Mom, I'm tired. I'm like, girl, I'm tired too. So we kind of had a conversation. And so I and it was going back and forth. But in the end, we worked it out. She found that second win, and she came on and helped me with taking the puppies out and walking them, training them, which she's really good at. And then on the next day, I said, you know what, let me give her a break. I'm going to take care of this whole day. And she helped me on a few areas, but, just giving her a break. And sometimes things require compromise when you're trying to accomplish things and you're wanting to create balance in your life, and that's what I am here for, to talk to you guys and to help you find a way to create balance. I know for some people, they're like, well, that's impossible to create balance. Everything is not going to be 50-50 in your life. Sometimes things going to pull you one way, it's going to pull you another. But how do you handle that? And so we're going to talk about one of those things today. So you guys, look, I hope that you stay tuned. Don't go anywhere, because, yeah, I'm going to be right back.
Black tea.
Good morning, morning. Welcome to Keep It Moving Monday Morning Motivation. I am Dr. Lia Abney, your host for this episode, and I am glad that you are here. For those of you who want to learn more about what I do and how I can help you, guess what? You can go over to my website at www.liaabneyllc.biz. That's where you can look over my website. You can schedule a consultation so that I can help you create balance in your life as well as set some reasonable goals that you can accomplish. And also, those of you who's like, you know what, I'm digging this episode. I want to, I want to hear a little bit more. You can go over to my YouTube channel and just search uh, Lia Abney LLC and go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I'd love to have you join me. But let's get with it, you guys. Let's get with it. And again, good morning to anybody that is watching. Again, go ahead and put in the chat where you're from and say hello. If there's any feedback and you have some tips and tools to help people with today's topic, we would love to hear from you because isn't just about me sharing. It's about us learning together. And I really want to create a community where we can reach out to each other, we can learn from each other to help each other create balance in our lives. So let's get with the topic. So today's topic, you guys, again, sometimes things can get a little overwhelming, whether it's on your job or in your personal life. How do you balance that all out? And what is going on at that time in your life? Well, again, with everything that was going on, like I said, this June and August, July and August, excuse me, and beginning of August, there have been a lot of things happening in the Abney household. A lot of things happening, from having new floors put in, a storm door put in. Also, we had some storms that were happening at the end of June going into July, which caused some roof damage. So I had to have my roof replaced. Yes, y'all. All this was happening. My master bath, I had to have my shower door replaced. Y'all, there were so many things going on. So many things that were going on. But that wasn't the end of it. I decided it was a great idea to add on to all of that and got two puppies. And I know you're all like, what? Good morning. So yeah, I turned around and got two puppies. So things could become overwhelming. And so it brought to mind this weekend as my daughter and I were trying to navigate this change in our life that I thought about burnout. You know, what happens when things get a little overwhelming, things aren't moving along the way that you want to, whether it's in your personal life or your professional life. What do? How do you identify that this is what's going on? And how do you go about creating balance in the midst of that? So today's topic, you guys, what I want to talk about is mastering work life balance, unveiling powerful strategies to avoid burnout. So we're going to talk a little bit about burnout. Have you ever faced burnout? Have you ever been in a position where you're like, man, I'm just so burned out? And the thing is that burnout is a response to stress. Okay. So we're talking about that, because sometimes some of us like, oh, I'm so stressed. But are you burnt out? Where you lose motivation, where you um no longer have desires, no satisfaction on your job? Are you burned out? Because either the job is not meeting your needs or you're taking on more and you're not delegating. And so we're going to talk a little bit about this because, again, that could be in your personal life or your professional life. Just like in my home, okay, all those things were going on. We have the puppies and, trying to do everything myself. And my daughter's like, no, mom, I can help. And so we have shared responsibilities when it comes to the pup. She really helps me out during the day when she's here and she's not having to work. And I take the night duties, so that she can rest. So we created a balance that works just for us to be able to manage the two new additions to our home, which creates also harmony in our home, you guys. I get it, and this is the thing. A lot of people believe that burnout cannot occur in your homes. Burnout can occur. Is this strain on relationship that is currently happening is due to burnout? Are you feeling like you're having a sense of burnout? What I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna take some time so that you'll understand some of the signs, some of the things that occur, but then also I'm gonna give you 3 ways to avoid burnout. So let's get into the topic. So according to Forbes magazine, it is in a recent McKinsey report, it states that there is a rise in burnout when it comes to women. Women burning out more than men has risen, especially since the pandemic. Um, and that burnout is a response to your emotional and interpersonal stress. Okay. Burnout is a response to your emotional and interpersonal stress that is occurring in your life, whether it's personal or whether it's professional. But this is the thing, burnout can have a significant impact not only on your personal life, but also on your professional life. And so being able to identify what actually is occurring during those times, what are some of the impacts of burnout in your personal and professional life will help you to create a strategy so that you'll be able to avoid that burnout. Okay, so there are some physical, there's also some emotional, as well as some chronic effects to burnout. Yes, your physical health can be impacted, your mental health can be impacted when you are faced with burnout. It reduces motivation on the job. A lot of times, maybe you have some employees, or maybe yourself. You may turn around and say, "You know what? I'm not motivated to do this job anymore." Are you facing burnout? Is it possible that what you're faced with is burnout? And this is the thing. I have realized, because I have been one that has faced that, and I realized, I'm like, oh man, that really was what I was going through. I was really burned out because there were so many times on my job where there was only two of us doing the job, and although my supervisor tried to create a balance, trying to manage all of the work that needed to be done while she tried to do a lot of the management part of it, it created burnout for me. And I did not recognize that that was going on. And what happened, I was no longer motivated to do my job. I'm like, I did the minimum, enough. I did enough. And I was not willing to go beyond or above. And so I was like, oh my gosh. But not only that, for some, it can impair your ability to make business decisions. Even as an entrepreneur, are you taking on so much that you're not delegating? You're not delegating certain responsibilities because you feel you need to have hands on everything. And that, guess what? That can also happen in your life. It can happen in your personal life. Do you feel you need to, especially men? And I don't want to dismiss men, okay? Because burnout can happen for them when they feel that they need to fix things, right? Oh, I need to fix this, I need to fix that. And then if they feel that they haven't done something in order to fix it, burnout can happen. Or maybe it's on their job. So as although I mentioned in the beginning that women during the pandemic, there's been a rise in burnout in women, men do suffer from burnout as well. Men do suffer from burnout as well. Also, one of the things that can happen is you will find that your health will start to decline. Are you finding yourself, having these ailments and your body's not performing normally? Are you sleepy all the time? Is it possible that you're being faced with burnout? Also, it could be a strain on relationships. I mentioned earlier, I said, everything that was going on, so many moving parts that were happening. If I didn't listen to my daughter and I did not hear what she was saying to create balance, that could have been a strain on our relationship. Although the pups are cute and we do want to have them, if I didn't create a balance, I didn't have open communication with her, and I didn't take the time to hear her, that could create strain in our relationship. So, are there some strained relationships where burnout may be the benefactor of those strained relationships? And another thing is, guess what? The quality of work that you do can decline. As an entrepreneur, you may find yourself not doing what it is, your goals you want to accomplish, to sustain your business, to build your business as an entrepreneur. Are you burned out on, the different activities that you may be doing, trying to get it started, don't know where to start? And that's what I am here for, to help you do that so that you don't be faced with burnout, but also be able to identify what burnout looks like, and also to have some strategies to overcome or to avoid burnout in your life, or as you are built establish yourself as an entrepreneur. So there are three ways to avoid burnout. But before I go into that, you know what I like to do, I like to add a scripture. So as I was looking at this particular scripture did come to me. So Matthew 11:28 through 30. And I'm going to break this down a little bit. And so the NIV version states this: come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Now, I want to focus on that rest part right there, because according to John Maxwell's Leadership Bible, in verse 29, when God is talking about that, I will give you rest, right here, where Jesus is saying that I will give you rest, right here, rest is actually a framework. Is God's way of creating a framework for you in order to overcome this. That means that rest in that scripture is stating that they will give you the right leadership. It will give you the right leadership to guide you, right? To guide you on whatever it is that you're working on. And that's what it says in that piece. But also, it says that the rest that they're giving you is not only just an outward rest, it's also an inward. That means your mind, your body, your soul. So everything will be working the way it is. Remember in the top I was talking about, there are some things that happen when you are facing burnout. And some of the things is that it could be physical and emotional. And guess what? This verse is saying, you know what? If you rest, this rest that God is talking about, he says, you know what? Yeah, you're going to find rest. You're going to have that inner peace. You're going to have that outward peace as well, where your physical health is not going to be impacted. Your mind is not going to be impacted. And not only that, I'm going to ensure that you have right people around you to guide you. So it's so important that you do have a support system around you, because that is one of the things that will help you avoid burnout, to avoid burnout. And so also in the scripture, let's get to the second part. It says, take my yoke upon you and learn from me. This is the thing that I'm like, oh wow, so I'm not out here by myself and I actually can learn. It says, take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle. So a lot of times we think that burnout will cause, this is the thing. I have come to realize when I was studying this particular scripture and I was reading through this, I am not alone in this process. And although in here it says, learn from me, I will give you rest. And I know that means that God is going to bring some people around me that I'm going to be able to experience that rest. I am going to be able to lean on them for guidance and wisdom and also support to get me through that. So it's not just my daughter and I, as we're going through this, we have family that we can lean on. We have friends that we can lean on that has experience with raising pups. So we're not out here on the loan. And we could do, yes, and we look, the internet, but we don't have to just rely on technology to tell us what we need. There are other people, such as the veterans we are talking to, and those who have the knowledge and the information to help us along the way. So again, when you are facing burnout, you are not alone. A lot of times when we're facing things, especially burnout on our job, we will not communicate with our supervisors because we think that it's going to look negatively on us. But also what it does, if you're open to talk to your supervisor, it will help them to create an environment where they are being inclusive and also being aware of creating an environment of well-being and wellness in their environment. They don't know what they don't know until you speak to them. It is not a sign of weakness. And I do apologize if you hear the barking because those are the pups and they just woke up. So they're just waking up. And so this particular scripture really, really spoke to me to help me understand, okay, Leah, you don't have to be in this position because there are some things that you can do. And so I am going to share with you just 3 ways. There's a whole list. I am going to post a blog. So if you want to hear more than what I've given you today, stay tuned this week because I will be posting a blog on this topic that has a lot more information. So there are 3 ways. There are 3 ways to avoid burnout. And the thing is that you may have heard of these before. But I believe that the more you hear things, the more it's like, okay, but it's not about just hearing it. It is about incorporating and including them in your life daily. Okay, you don't just want to hear them, you want to put them into practice. So again, practice self-care. What are you doing daily to ensure that you're including self-care? One of the things that I do is I stretch. I try to make sure that I stretch in the morning, or if I'm reading my Bible, or I'm taking some self-time for myself. And those are the things we want to ensure we're doing, whether it's on our job. Many jobs also incorporate, just hourly breaks, whether it's 5 or 10 minutes. Are you taking advantage of those, or are you letting those go by? If you are one that's like, well, I eat at my desk all day, every day, at lunch, take a moment to step away if you have the opportunity. Or maybe take your lunch and eat it in another area if your organization has another, maybe a cafeteria or something like that. But step away from your desk. Step away from your desk. It does a lot for your mind. It brings more energy, and then you can come back to wherever task that you were working on. But also, don't be afraid to ask for help. It's one of the things that I'm so glad that has been incorporated into my office where I currently work right now. It has not always been that way. They have created a culture where it's okay to ask for help on a task. So we lean on each other as any other special projects. How can I help you with this task you're doing? Even though that one's co-worker may have the lead, they can look to us to help them. And we have incorporated a culture of help in our environment, no differently than in your home. You want your kids to help you with cleaning. You want your kids or your family members or even your significant other or your spouse to help you with some of the daily chores in the house. It's the same thing on your job. But again, supervisors don't know what they don't know. So practice that self-care. So number 2, you want to set boundaries. This is one of the things that we like. Well, Leah, how can we establish boundaries? Well, one of the ways you can establish boundaries is by saying no. Can it be difficult to just say no on your job? It can be. One of the things that I have learned to do is on my job, they're like, well, Leah, we need you to do this. I explain to my supervisors, I have this, I do a rundown of what it is I have going, when's the deadline. What am I currently working on? I also ask them to add what they're wanting me to do. Which one of these are you okay with being delayed? Because a lot of times they don't realize what you already have on your plate. And you're like, well, the supervisors, they just should know. Well, along with what I'm doing and what my other coworkers are doing as a supervisor and what they're doing and what the whole organization may be putting on them, they may have a lot of things where they don't realize what you're handling at that moment. So openly communicating what it is you have on hand, what is it that you would like to have delayed. And that goes into prioritizing, which is one of the other tips also, right? That you want to be able to do is prioritizing tasks, being willing to delegate if and when you can. So number 3, definitely, as I already stated, creating a support work culture. And I know it's saying work culture, but this could also means creating a support also in your home and wherever relationship you are to avoid burnout. Woo, to avoid burnout. And so these are the 3 tips that I have. Again, you want to practice self-care. Number 1, practice that self-care because that is very important. Number 2, you want to make sure that you are setting those boundaries. Don't be afraid to say no. You want to delegate. You want to be able to collaborate. You want to be able to set those boundaries so that you don't become overwhelmed. You don't become emotionally detached from your home life, from your work life. You want to be able to create that balance. And also, the number 3 is you want to be able to create a supportive work culture. So, in remembering to prevent burnout, it is an ongoing effort. This is ongoing, recognizing what piques you when you find yourself being stressed, being emotional stress, or when you're finding interpersonal stress happening. Okay, being able to identify that. And I want to talk on that just a minute. That interpersonal stress are signs of that talk that you're having in your head. Those are feelings of when you're feeling down, you're feeling non-motivated to do anything. You don't want to you don't feel engaged. Anything annoys you, annoyance. You're feeling annoyed when the supervisor talks to you, and those could be signs of, or a coworker talks to you, you're just annoyed with anything they say. Those are signs of burnout. So being able to identify those can help to create balance and help you to manage relationships, help to manage your health. That's number 1. So you guys, I want to thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope that you found something that was beneficial to you on today's episode. But I don't want you to stay away from me. I'm hoping that you will join me again for next week's episode of Keep It Moving Monday Morning Motivation. I am Dr. Abney. Y'all have a great day.
Are you connected to the right resources to grow and achieve your goals in your personal life or for your business? Let Lia Abney LLC Consulting Services help you connect, communicate, and commit to the building process of growing your business to the next level. A veteran with over 20 years of managing multi-million-dollar projects, Lia Abney, owner, author, and motivational speaker, has keen insight and knowledge in the value of collaboration and strategy planning to keep you moving to the next level in building a legacy. Visit her website at www.liaabneyllc.biz. That's www.liaabneyllc.biz for more information.